this is Scott Cooper. You're listening to the Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Scissors beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri, hanging out on Zoom today with Scott Cooper. Welcome to the show, my friend.
What up, Shane? Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, this is cool, man. We're just kind of catching up here before we hit record and talking about it. But like, I love that Zoom is now an option and that we can actually get like quality recordings out of it all too. And but you are, I guess, at your home in California, right?
Yep, Santa Cruz, California.
So like, it's crazy that we can sit. I'm here in St. Louis and sitting and talking, having conversation, and sounds good. So, I think we were talking about trying to work this out while you were here visiting in St. Louis for a bit, but apparently there's a global pandemic going on and everything else, and kind of threw a wrench in it all, and we didn't make it happen. But you do have a lot of ties to the St. Louis area, right?
Yeah, well, I was born and raised there.
Yeah.
My parents still live in the same house that I was born in.
Right.
So I go back a few times a year.
So how long did you live here in St. Louis before moving to the West Coast?
I was 18.
18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was 18.
So you and then what took you out to California? Was that music or just work?
I lived in Madison, Wisconsin for 3 years.
Yeah.
Went to school and had a job up there, and then I was taking these classes that I was interested in, but they didn't apply to any specific major in Madison. So I met a girl at a Dead show, and she said, "You should check out Santa Cruz." So I checked out Santa Cruz, and sure enough, the psychology art department there was offered a lot of classes in what I wanted to study. So, which is basically a cross between psychology and the arts. And so I went to school at UCSC and never ended up leaving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I imagine the weather and culture and everything else. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of things to offer that keep you entertained up there. That sounds pretty great.
Yeah, it is.
I've been here in St. Louis all my life, so I don't really know any different, but I do love it here. I love everything we got going on here. I have a lot of fun in St. Louis, so nothing's really pulled me to move anywhere else yet. So
right on. Yeah, I always like coming back. There's always a host of things that I really enjoy. I appreciate way more now that I don't live there than when I did. That's for sure.
Like toasted raviolis
and going down. Well, I used to go down to the Ozarks when I was a kid too a lot, but I still pretty much every trip I make some kind of excursion to some river or Johnson's Shut-ins or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some beautiful country. Just going exploring down there. And we used to vacation a lot towards, we started the Ozarks. We actually had property on the Ozarks for a while. It was just like a lot. And my dad built this big like deck that we would, he had hopes of building a house down there, or, a lake house kind of thing. And never really got around to it, but we had like a big dock and deck on the property, and we would set up like a tent there and stuff. And but we would go down there boating a lot until it got to the point where we had a little low profile speedboat, and then we just couldn't hang anymore, especially holiday weekends with all these massive boats down there. So we started going to Bull Shoals and Norfolk a lot more, going a little farther south, and so those are always fun too. But yeah, some real pretty country in southern Missouri down there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You well, it might be a good cue to drop in on one of your newer songs. You just released this a little while ago called "MoMo the Monster," which is you even reference the Ozarks and stuff in there, and but it's one that's a great song, but two, you shot a music video for it, and you feature all sorts of my buddies playing along with you in the song. So let's talk about how this project came to be.
There's a lot of stories around that one. First, the specific video was one of those home Zoom things where everyone recorded their part to me playing a basic track, and no one heard anyone else's parts. So it wasn't done live, or no one could hear what anyone else was doing other than my basic rhythm track. And it turned out great. And naturally, I used all the St. Louis guys because the song's about MoMo the Monster, the Missouri Bigfoot.
Right.
And those are all guys that I've worked with before in St. Louis or at Sugar Creek Music Festival. And turned out great. The bass player is actually my bass player from here in Santa Cruz, Terry Shields. And then I'll tell you a funny little story about that song is, actually it's an old song and I recorded a long time ago with a band called Stack of Bones. And the Missouri Folklore Society had it up on their website and on a page about MoMo the Monster. And randomly, 5, 10, 15 years later, I get a phone call from someone. The phone call said it was Kirkwood, Missouri, and I thought it was my friend Paul. And he said, "Oh man, I was hunting and I basically saw MoMo the Monster and I got a video of it." And I'm like, first I thought it was my buddy Paul, then I thought, so I called him back the number, and it wasn't my buddy Paul. And he was serious, and he was telling me his whole story. And I said, "So why are you calling me? I'm a musician in California. What does your hunting video have to do with me?" And he said, "Well, because it has MoMo the Monster, and I thought you were the authority on MoMo the Monster." I said, "No, man, I just have a song about it." And somehow my phone number got on the Missouri Folklore Society's website, and this guy called. So it's up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Not only the video of us playing the song, but the video of this guy hunting, and you can see a little movement in the background that he says is MoMo the Monster.
All right. The St. Louis players you feature on this track, you have Mr. Sean Cannon of Sean Cannon's Voodoo Players, who's become a great friend of mine. We working together about every Wednesday night down at Broadway Oyster Bar for 4 years.
Right, cool.
And then you got Spanky Manawis, Phil Manawis. He was another great friend of mine now. Actually, my I guess sort of my boss, kind of. I don't know if you want to call it boss, but we're partners, and I help manage Spankonia, his new original band we're working on. So far it's all covers, but the goal is to do an original record. But
right on.
Spanky's a bad dude on those keys, though. He's a very talented guy.
So Sean, they're all great. All those guys are great.
Oh yeah. And then Sean Anglin on percussion and drums, and so I love.
Well, Sean Anglin on that tune, he just sings. Actually.
Oh, he just sang on that.
Yeah.
Who's
Rob Koritz
that's Rob. Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah. But anyway, all sorts of great guys, and so anyway, that was really a treat for me to see a bunch of my buddies getting to join you there. So always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Whoa, no, here comes MoMo. Do you know MoMo the Monster? Have you heard of his tale? he's still living somewhere in the Ozark Hills. 6'9", tall, dark, and hairy. Left no trace but footprints in the snow. So if you see MoMo the Monster, won't you tell him I said hello? Did you know MoMo had parents by the name of McCoy? Mama told them not to marry, not to have no baby boy. Kinfolk blood, a shame to his family. He's just a freak, no monster at all. So if you see MoMo the Monster, won't you tell him I said hello? So if you see MoMo the Monster, call him over for a beer. He might not know what you're saying, but you need not have no fear. Never actually hurt anybody. Spooked my dog, I heard a miller say. So if you see MoMo the Monster, take my word, he's okay. Oh no, here comes MoMo, MoMo the Monster. Oh no, here comes MoMo, he's roaming in the hills. Oh no, here comes MoMo, he's coming to get you now. Oh no, here comes MoMo, MoMo the Monster.
But this, yeah, a great little tune on. You can find it, the video and everything on YouTube. You ever, talking about that guy's phone call? Do you ever go out looking for MoMo, or you ever done any of that?
Not straight, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe under the influence of something illicit, but
they got that whole searching for Bigfoot. They got a whole show, like several seasons of guys out there looking for Bigfoot, and I heard I have a friend, Adam Ray, does comedy, and how he had a joke about that, how they're, he hasn't watched every season or anything, but he's watching the new one. And then he's just like, guy walks up to this like valley and he's like, oh, or something like that. And he's like, nope, he's not down there. And like, like that's all it takes. So, but anyway, pretty silly. I don't know if I believe, but it's, there's a lot of people that do, and there's a lot of definitely some interesting images that, but I've never been out there looking for Momo myself, or Bigfoot, or whatever you want to call them. But
well, he never let the truth get in the way of a good story, or in this case, the song. So
sure. But yeah. So you talked about meeting a girl at a Dead show, and then led you to Santa Cruz. So you was that where music kind of really started picking up for you there in Santa Cruz, or were you playing all like for a long time?
Well, I started playing drums when I was 13. And obviously not professional, but when I lived in Madison, I had a couple, amateur punk bands in high school that never gigged out. We just played for fun, and jammed with some friends. A couple of them you probably know.
Yeah.
And then when I got to Madison, I got in a band that was gigging, and started doing some pickup work as a drummer. When I moved to Santa Cruz, I got in as the house drummer at a blues jam. Every Sunday, this bar had a blues jam, and I was in the house band. And actually, a lot of stuff grew out of that, because since it's an open jam, you meet a lot of players coming through, and a lot of them were great now touring artists, and a lot of them weren't, but it was cool. So that was really where a lot of it started, and everything blossomed from there.
Yeah. So a lot of drums early, and now you play guitar also, and then sing, and of course writing your own originals. Is that, when did you start kind of developing that you wanted to start doing these originals? And
well, I've been writing poetry, if you will. I mean, it wasn't exactly Emily Dickinson kind of poetry, but I've been writing in probably started in college around 18 or 19, and started playing guitar just for fun. I didn't want to have any aspirations other than wanted to play Standing on the Rock by the Ozark Mountain Daredevils around a campfire, and that was my goal. And,
yeah, man, I
did that.
I have a ton of history with that song, actually. We used to joke around about having a family band, and me, my dad, and my brother, and we whatever Saturday, Sunday mornings we'd get around, and Dad would play some guitar, and he played some harmonica and stuff. But that one in particular I can have vivid memories of, singing along, just waiting for my seeds to grow. Mm-hmm. And it was just a lot of fun those times, but great songs, and from the Ozark Mountain Daredevils.
Indeed. So I started picking up guitar and just playing it casually, and played guitar all throughout, when I was gigging as a drummer mostly in the late 80s and through the 90s. And then I started writing songs and bringing them to my bands that I was the drummer in, and we would record those tunes, even though I was just the drummer. Eventually started playing bass with a couple buddies in a little trio, mostly because I had somehow acquired a bass, and the other guy didn't have one, so I was the bass player. And then I started playing bass with this band. I think played drums with this band, Stack of Bones, who was on Relics Records at the time. Played drums with them first, and then long story there. Great story. One day, I'll tell you. Started playing bass with them, and ended up eventually getting good enough on guitar. I joined this other guy named Gary Gates as his bass player, who I still play with 15 years later. Just a bass player for Gary. and then started playing guitar. Really, the China Cats about 11 years ago was my first electric guitar band that I ever played in. And it was because I picked up a gig for Gary Gates and through a friend of mine who owned a club. And then Gary said no, he didn't want to play that club. And a friend did me a favor and gave me a gig, so I didn't want to throw it away. So I just threw together a band. And I said, well, I'll play guitar. I know a guy who can play bass. And we'll just do tunes we know in common, dead tunes, low-hanging fruit. And it was great. And we decided to do it again. And then we played a bigger venue, and it evolved into the China Cats from there.
Yeah.
I guess it's more than 11 years, but
So China Cats still playing. You still play under that name and
yeah,
throughout the Santa Cruz area there.
all throughout California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. So what is it about the Dead? Because like obviously you were a fan. You went to the show and you spend a lot of time playing a lot of their music. You said China Cats is strictly Dead cover stuff.
Strictly Dead covers. Yeah.
Yeah.
We barely even. It's an I wouldn't say an argument, but it's a debate discussion within the band, even to do Jerry band stuff. So
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of rules to it all. I've learned, being friends with a lot of these guys. There's we in St. Louis we have quite a few really great Dead cover groups, and but they all have their own little thing. Some of them do JCB, some just only do Dead. It's like whatever it is, but it's just funny how. They have their own certain material that they like to play and stick to that.
Yeah, well, I will say that I started go and see Jake's Leg at 20 North in the mid 80s, mid 80s.
Yeah.
And with Nick Romanoff on guitar, Izod on drums. I think the bass player, his name was Sean, I forget. Yeah. Anyway, I loved what they did. And to this day, I think they're my favorite. That incarnation of the band is still my favorite Dead tribute band or Dead cover band, because they had a sound of their own that was obviously pulled from the Dead's ethos, but they didn't sound just like the Dead. Whereas DSO sounds just like the Dead, and they're great. But I always preferred Jake's Leg's approach to it, and I bring that to the China Cats and to Rosebud. Of course, everyone has different ideas of what it should be, but Jake's Leg was kind of like the gold standard for me.
Yeah. Still doing it, man. 40 something years now or something like, it's crazy to think that keeping a band together that long, and doing it still, but yeah, they,
I actually haven't seen them in probably 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
But back then in the 80s, they were great. Sure.
I used to, working at Oyster Bar, I'd see them pretty frequently through there. So, I'd stop in and play. And I remember they've done a couple of those Dead Night at the Ballpark recently and stuff. And like they'd always play like after that game, and that would always be a crazy time down there. That place would be packed out, like a July summer night, and a lot of people follow that group around still. Like they do very well.
Right on. Good for them.
Yeah. But so what is, like I was saying, what is it about the Dead for you? Why you felt you attached so much to this material and that music?
There was a lot of things about it. I think the songwriting is great. I always say that people have different relationships with the Dead. And I know some people who are like, it's all about the lyrics, and they think Robert Hunter's just great, and they quote lyrics to live their life by the lyrics. And I don't know if I do that. And some people, it's all about the dancing. And I don't know if I do that a little bit, of course, but some people, it's all about the scene. I think for me was the fact that there's a lot of musical depth. I like music that has a lot of depth. There's a lot of counterpoint There's strong melodies, great songs, and the fact that it's so fluid and changes and it's so alive and everything is different every time you hear them or every time you hear a song, every show you go to, and there's a lot of power to that spontaneity and that you never know what you're gonna get.
Right. I was, I never was like huge on them. I knew some of the bigger hits and stuff like that. I knew a couple, but working again at the bar and going to see like Sean Cannon doing, some various Dead nights and stuff down there where he would do and stuff, especially it's like seeing my friends do it, like made me really start to appreciate the music a lot more. And like you're saying, like the way that they're able to improv and throughout like these songs and stuff, like, so as I like started this, those guys kind of helped open my eyes to it more, and I started like appreciating the Dead a lot more to it. Just again, I never got to see them do it live, the actual band. So, but I feel like seeing enough of these St. Louis tributes and cover sets, and made me, like I said, appreciate it a lot more now. So,
yeah. Well, DSO is as close as you'll come to see the real thing. I mean, it's not Jerry, but those guys are so good, and they sound just like him, and they do it justice.
Right. Yeah. Well, you again, you got the China Cats and Rosebud. Rosebud, you said does Dead, but also you sprinkle in some originals. Project and
we do about 60% Dead. And what I say is we do Dead and stuff that Jerry would have done, or the Dead would have done. I throw in a few originals, maybe two or three originals per night, per gig. I don't want to, and they have to be originals that fit that style, so I don't use it as a vehicle just to play all my material. And I know that when it's Dead music, a lot of people will come and people will dance, and everyone has a different attitude and sees the whole band through a different lens when it's Dead centric, I guess.
Right.
So we do some other stuff that's non-Dead that to me or to us feels like the Dead could have done at any point in time, and we do it in the style of the Dead, maybe rearrange it too. Yeah,
very cool, man. Well, let's throw in another one of your tunes and one of your originals. And this was called Every Night, available on Scott Cooper Jams.bandcamp. You can, if you want to download it and add it to your favorite playlist. But this was a fun song. I don't know. It was just got a fun groove to it. It's fun to sing along. It's pretty catchy hook on it and stuff. So.
Betty Lou, what you gonna do while he's away? What if his boss, tired of the sauce, lets him go, and his wife, tired of her life, suburban home, living life hanging by a thread, that's his MO. On the edge of losing it all, somehow he don't. Every night, and every other night, and on it goes.
What would you like to add around every night?
It's funny, since you work at Broadway Oyster Bar, I kind of wrote it with Broadway Oyster Bar in mind, because I was down there one night meeting up a whole bunch of old high school buddies, and my good buddy Paul showed up. Paul Arnott, you know Paul?
I think just through the internet. I don't know that we.
Okay, I'm sure you've seen him down there.
Yeah.
And Paul showed up, and he'd been drinking and was a little had a little too much to drink, and so the song's partially about Paul being able to keep it all together. And there's a line about kiss the cobblestone, because whatever that cobblestone street that's right near there.
Yeah.
So I had that in mind. And then it's also a mix. It's like a fictitious character based on Paul and my buddy here, Stevie, who also drinks a lot and somehow manages to keep it all together. So that's pretty much what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a good time, and I'm sure like I said, a lot of those nights down there, having a couple of beverages at the bar are always a good time too. So really kind of capture that for sure. But yeah, check out every night. Where is it up on the streaming platforms too, or just at Bandcamp right now?
Yeah, it's on YouTube also.
Oh, all right.
And it's I paid one of those distributors to get it out there, so it's probably in all the Spotify's and Pandora's of the world.
Yeah, there you go.
I should mention that my friend Dale Ackerman plays piano, does a killer piano solo on that tune. Dale used to play with the Doobie Brothers and Quicksilver Messenger Service and Ziggy Modaliste from the Meters.
Very cool.
Dale's like a local legend here in Santa Cruz.
Nice. Yeah, man. Very cool. You were telling me before we clicked record that you spent a lot of time doing, essentially kind of what I've been trying to do here with this podcast, getting to interview musicians and getting to, you would get to sound like talk to a bunch of really great and really great people, and then you would write for the paper.
Yeah,
and you had a local, or you had your own website where you would have all this stuff documented also.
Yeah, kind of. The website was really wasn't really part of it as much as I think a facade of a business. Basically what it was I called it under the name Volume Media. I would interview touring musicians and write up a feature story about them, and then look on Polestar, see where they're performing or touring. And I'd hit up the arts editors of the newspapers in those towns. I'd say, hey, I've got an interview with Bob Weir. He's playing in 2 months in Paducah. Are you interested in the story? And I'd sell essentially the same story from town to town. And it started out, I was a writer for the local newspaper here in Santa Cruz. And then I had a friend who was an editor for some music magazine, and he got me in that music magazine. And so then I could go to the editor of Paducah and say, I'm a music writer I've been published in this magazine and this newspaper. And then so it opened that door. And then I went to the third paper and said, okay, I've been published in Paducah, Santa Cruz, this magazine. And now I'm in Boise. Now I'm in Detroit. Now I'm in Dallas. So the more it grew until I reached the glass ceiling. And I was writing for the New York Times Syndicate.
Man.
And I had an interview with David Grisman. And he didn't even know who David Grisman was. But I remember he didn't pay much. And I asked him, I'd been doing it for a couple of years. And I asked him for a raise. And I'll never forget, his answer was, you get the same amount of money as Mikhail Gorbachev and Martha Stewart. So I'm like, okay, so this is the top of the ladder, I guess. So that and a couple other things happened around the same time that I kind of put that to the side. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a particular favorite that you got to talk to?
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah.
Dr. John was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Everything he said was Grigri and Mojo and Voodoo, and it was cool.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
John Anderson from Yes was similar. Everything was cosmic, spacey, and he was kind of like a childhood hero of mine, so that was great. Dan Hicks was really cool. I laughed the whole time talking to him.
Now, were you doing this like over the phone, or did you guys get to? Yeah,
all over the phone.
All right.
Steve Morse actually called me back once after I interviewed him. Called me back and said, "I want to talk more about this."
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah,
those are some of my favorites.
Yeah, that's I don't know. It's really like I never really anticipated going into journalism. I'd actually like wrote for school paper, in high school, and I thought about it a little bit. We went to I got to go to Mizzou for this like journalism thing while in high school, and got to I think they had Art Holiday came in from KSDK, and was like some kind of guest speaker for the day, and got to talk about what he does. And so I don't know, it was a lot of thinking about it then, but I never thought that I'd be trying to do this as I don't know that it's a career doing this podcast or anything, but I have a lot of fun doing it, and I get to talk to all my friends. And but essentially I feel like I'm kind of archiving what we have going on, and so it's really neat for me to look back at some of these other episodes and just think about how great some of the stuff is. And especially because some of these bands aren't still bands anymore. Some of the, some of these artists are gone already, and various things. So it's, but I have these recordings that live on forever on the internet. So,
right.
Cool. But so, yeah, I have a lot of fun with it. And so it sounded like you also had a lot of fun getting to, talk to all these people throughout your time doing that.
Yeah, it was great. Keep it up, Shane.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's great.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's open. I've been doing the show for 6.5 years, and more crazier things have happened since I started doing this show than I would ever. I never thought I'd be putting on concerts and doing all these things. I don't know. I just never. If you would have asked me 7 years ago what all this stuff happened, I would have probably would never have guessed any of that stuff. So it's really fun that I started putting myself out there, and all of a sudden things started happening. And so I'm going to keep riding the wave, man. See where this thing takes me. And
Attaboy.
yeah.
Oh, man.
So, let's. So you've you get to come around town every so often. You were saying you come back home and visit, and you will be back here. Fingers crossed, everything is going well by then. But April, you're scheduled to appear here in the Greater St. Louis area, right, for the music festival?
Yeah, Sugar Creek Music Festival is a thing that takes place at Camp Manitowa near Benton, Illinois, every
Right.
September. And I've played there for the last 5 years, I think. And then this year, I think he's doing a spring version. And I think it was originally intended to be a 420 festival, but it's more like 416 or 417.
All right.
So yeah, we're doing that again this year. So that's my next scheduled gig around there. But if I'm coming in town, I'll probably try to get a gig in St. Louis, the night before or the night after too.
Yeah. You is that where you got to know Andy?
Andy and I grew up together. Andy
Okay.
Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've known each other since elementary school, I think.
All right. Going way
Yeah.
back, huh?
Yeah. There's a group of guys. The guys that Andy hangs out with all the time. Well, about half of those guys we all went to Joel and Drew and who else? I think those are the only three that we went to elementary or
Okay.
high school together.
Very nice. Yeah, I've become good buddies with all those guys from, coming in on Wednesday nights at the bar and stuff. So they're all a bunch of great guys.
Yeah.
I remember Andy kind of helped get the, connect the dots for this one and stuff. So shout out to Andy Brown.
Yeah. Thanks, Bubba.
Well, you have your guitar there with you. We were talking about doing a little live version of a song called "Call My Name," which the only recording of this is really kind of grassy, which is a big different sound from MoMo to Every Night, and like it's very other. It's I don't know. It's just fun, like because those kind of a little more rocking kind of stuff, but like hearing more of a bluegrass arrangement on this song.
Right. Well, first of all, my second CD is called Jack of All Trades, and that was all acoustic stuff. And I basically saved all my bluegrassy and acoustic stuff and put it all on one CD. But then this song came much later. This is a recent tune. And it just kind of lends itself to that arrangement. And I used this local bluegrass band called Blue Summit, who are great, and they back me up on it. And they win national awards. I'm sure that you'll be hearing about them, and assuming this pandemic ever passes, when it does, they'll probably start touring country and playing bluegrass festivals all over. So they're great.
Yeah, you're showing us your guitar. Is what? Is there any significance to this particular one?
Just a cool guitar. So
Yeah.
It keeps an arch top. I don't always forget, is it a 1948 L52 or is it a 1952 L48? one of those two. But it's it's a nice Gibson arch top.
Yeah.
Missing a few. It's got a few little warts here and there.
Right.
But it's my house guitar. I play it around the house.
Yeah, man. Well, let's. You want to play "Call My Name"?
Sure. I'll back this up so you can see the guitar a little bit. Maybe not. Can't see the guitar. What about that? A little bit.
A little bit.
All right. Call my name when everything is broken. Call my name if you want to make it right. Like a hero, my dear, so I shall appear when you call my name. you are feeling blue, you know just what to do. Just call my name. Dog solo. Call my name when the moon is waning. Call my name when the sky's ablaze. Be it morning or night, if you wanna feel alright, just call my name. Call my name when you need me, I'll come running. Call my name and I'll be there again. And you know I will show across the Ohio when you call my name. Behind my cape you can't escape. There you'll be safe when you call my name.
Yeah.
Way to go, Pugs!
Special guest.
There's my pug taking a bark solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're live. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wanted to sing along.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I got 2 pups myself. I got a like a 6-year-old pit. We believe she's pit boxer mix. She's a rescue, and then I have a like 16-year-old beagle that me and old Bell been together a long time now.
Right on, man.
Yeah, you just have the one pug.
I got one pug. Yep.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, they're fun. And, I got a couple questions for you, Scott. I've been having fun asking some of these to people around town and getting all their different answers. And but let's start with: is there a dream duet or collaboration you'd love to see for yourself?
Great question. Honestly, my dream is to have other people cover my tunes.
Oh, yeah,
That's my dream. And I've had some, but nothing to note. Collaboration or duet, I'm not really interested in any duets per se, but I would love to do a gig with Phil Lesh sometime. That'd be a dream.
Yeah, man, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
We'll see, hopefully he watches this and we'll make that happen.
All right. Hey, Phil, give me a call.
Yeah, right. What's a song you wish you wrote?
Song I wish I wrote.
Is there anything particular you feel maybe tells your story, or that you just feel you could just connect with, that like, man, I wish I had that idea?
I never really thought about that. I mean, I could say there's a million Dead tunes and a million Beatles tunes.
Oh yeah.
Maybe some Jerry Jeff Walker tunes that really hit me too. Yeah. That's about it. That's all I can think of.
Right. Yeah. I've been talking about it a lot, but I really love it. But this guy, Josh Adam Myers, does a podcast called The 500. He's going through Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time and talking to sometimes, he's a comedian and he talks to other comedians and who are fans of a particular band or that album, or he talks to people that were involved in the album. They did ZZ Top's Eliminator record, and he got Billy Gibbons to sit, as his guest on the show and talking about it, and which was super cool. He talked about the Temptations with I think it's Otis Williams, I think is the name, their baritone and the last original member of the group. So anyway, it's really interesting, and for me, it helps me appreciate a lot of different albums and bands that I kind of miss sometimes too. But so it's a fun way to learn about a lot of great music. And but anyway, he recently did like the Beatles Let It Be album popped up on the countdown, and it was, I don't know, man. I've always been a huge fan of. I love a lot of that music, but it was interesting to hear some of the stories that behind that particular record, and how like it almost didn't happen, and everything else, and like how they were all fighting, and how sometimes these songs came to be and stuff. How like they, Paul, they were talking about how Paul would have one idea and John would have an idea, and they would mash them together and make a song and stuff. So I don't know. I just really enjoy hearing how especially the Beatles, like how some of that stuff came to be, because they're such iconic songs, and such an incredible catalog.
Incredible is the word for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course, all four of those guys were great writers, anyway.
Okay, so then that brings me back your question about collaboration, which I was thinking more in terms of like performing collaboration, but writing collaboration is a whole other story. I would love to write with Donald Fagen.
Yeah.
Dan. Obviously, when Hunter was alive, I would have loved to have co-written with Robert Hunter. Donald Fagen from Steely Dan. I'd like to work with Tommy Malone from the Subdudes, my favorite singers.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that come to mind.
Yeah, for sure, man. That'd be pretty wild. Just sit in the same room and write something with those guys, and
wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. I don't know. I believe put it out there and see what happens. So that's what's right. kind of the magic of the internet and the universe, and let's see what happens, because it's crazier things have happened. So you never know.
Well, the one mystery, as much as I don't know how many decades of experience in the music industry, there's one mystery that I still can't mount and I still can't surpass, which is how to reach some of these big stars. Like if I want to pitch a song to Norah Jones,
yeah,
how do I reach Norah Jones? And I've tried a million different ways with her and with other people that, there's so many layers in front of them that you can't actually pitch anything to them or reach them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that world at all. I don't know how to, I don't have any advice for you on that part of it, but, I do know it happens though, because I've heard other, people definitely have those pitch meetings and stuff, but, I don't know about Norah in particular, but, it's just like, I have friends down there trying to do it though, like especially in Nashville, like trying to write for country music and stuff. And, so it's a crazy world, but I think that would be fun to be able to get to that point where you can write songs for other artists and have them performing your music and stuff like that, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
And speaking of Norah, I got to see her at Off Broadway one night in little bitty club, about 200 people in there. She it wasn't advertised like as her gig, but I think she was dating Corey Cheezel or something like that, or whatever the connection was. I forget if they were dating or whatever, but she was playing in his band, and and then she did a couple of songs by herself or front of the band for a couple songs, and so it was pretty crazy to see an artist like her in such a small room and stuff. Because had it been advertised as a Nora Jones show, it probably would have been a whole different story. So,
Right.
But yeah, what about? Is there a particular movie or TV show you wish you were in, like as a certain world that you would like to live in, or that you maybe a cast of characters you would like to be a part of? And
Yeah, the NHL.
yeah,
I would love to be in the NHL.
big hockey fan.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
hockey and football fan. It's funny. I wrote a story back when I was writing for the local paper a long time ago. I think I reached 30 and I realized, okay, my shot at making the NHL is officially over. But I have a scheme how I can get in the NHL. I can donate body parts.
Right.
So like my teeth can go to one guy.
Yeah, right.
And they can like put my kneecap in another guy, and I could be all over the league.
Yeah, I was. It's a tough day when you have to realize like maybe I'm not going to be the pro athlete that I thought I was going to be, and I went on basketball and football were a big part of my youth. Played a lot until probably my sophomore year of high school. Played all through little league for, stuff, played for the high school team. But I got to the point where I started having some knee problems and I grew like 4 inches in a month. So like it really kind of messed me up. And then, but by my sophomore year, my kind of had to step away because of my knees. And then like I started working full-time job and going to school. So then I was like, didn't really get back into it. I'd love to like pick up like a rec league kind of thing to start playing basketball again. That would be fun. But I don't know, man. But there was a time where I'm like, yep, I'm going to the NBA. I'm going to be, but then but then I was like, you realize like I'm 6'4", like you think you're the big tall guy in your school, but then you realize like once you in the grand scheme of things, I'm not that good and I'm not that big and everything else. Like so.
But music's the same way though. There's always a better singer and a better songwriter and a better guitar player, no matter who you are. So at some point you just got to say I'm me, and no one can do me as well as I can.
Sure. But yeah, but I just it was fun. No, we used to have a ton of fun. I'd put on like Jock Jams or Space Jam soundtrack or something, and playing in the driveway, and had all these big dreams. But it was like, oh well, one cut out for me.
Yeah.
What's so when you are traveling and you whether you're on tour or coming to town or something, what's one of your like what's your go-to road snacks? What's Scott Cooper have to have with it?
That's funny. Well, my buddy in Stack of Bones will tell you getting my hair cut.
Yeah.
He'll tell you every time we go on the road, I have to get my hair cut in some small town.
Right.
And I think it was just a coincidence that happened a few times. But no, I don't really have a go-to snack per se, as much as I like to look up like where the best restaurants are in each town.
Yeah.
Or, little iconic places, and I like to hit those up. Then mostly I play in California. So at this point, I know in each town I've got my little go-to place I want to go eat.
Yeah. What's is there any particular hidden gem that you found?
There's lots of them.
Yeah.
This place, there's a New Orleans place down in San Luis Obispo that I always try to go to, called Bon Ton Creole Cafe. And whenever I play down there, I always try to go to that spot. There's a great donut shop in San Luis Obispo that I try to go to. There's a place in Pismo Beach called the Honeymoon Cafe that I always go to.
Yeah. I'll have to come out and visit, man.
There you go.
Check it out. What about when you come to St. Louis? Is it what's
Oh yeah, St. Louis for sure.
When
I gotta get Normally I go to Ferrata's for pizza. This time I went to Frank and Helen's in U City,
Okay.
which I'd never been to Frank and Helen's before, but I read about it. So I always go to Grassi's on Lindbergh. And I don't eat much red meat, so I'll either go to like Lion's Choice or White Castle because we don't have those here.
Right.
Then I always go somewhere down on the hill and get some good Italian food.
There you go. I just recently saw, or I learned like a couple years ago that Lion's Choice was a local place. I never. I know they're not exclusive like just to St. Louis, but but it's pretty much a St. Louis based company, and like so I didn't. I had a friend.
Yeah, I've never seen it anywhere else, but
yeah. I have a friend like saying that they like lives in New York City, and like that's his first stop once it gets off the flight. Like goes to Lion's Choice because they don't have it anywhere else. So
I've heard that Coritz told me that the guy from Black Crowes, Chris Robinson.
Oh yeah,
loves emos.
Yeah.
Every time he's in St. Louis, he has to go to emos.
Yeah, man. That's one for sure that like is very decisive. You love it or you hate it. Like there's these people are really opinionated about their emos.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah,
I love St. Louis style pizza.
All right.
But I usually don't go to emos. I go to Ferrata's usually.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones around town.
Yeah.
A lot of good. I used to work at a little family restaurant out here. I live out a little out west, but worked for Stefanina's for a couple of years, and they do a real good thin crust like that. And so,
where are they?
They have a couple. I guess it's been franchised now. So there's a few around throughout St. Charles, O'Fallon, Wentzville, Troy, all this stuff. So, but yeah, it's some pretty good pie.
I should mention Sugar Fire too. I always get some Sugar Fire.
Yeah. We got a big old one. You have to come out here sometime when you're in town in Wentzville. They got a real nice Sugar Fire with a big like outdoor volleyball, 2 sand volleyball courts going on now. But then also right next door, Brett Hall just opened up a place called Junction House. Mm-hmm. And so now Brett Hall has a restaurant here in Wentzville, and I don't know how often he's there, but being a hockey fan, I mean, I'm sure it'd be pretty neat to bump into him.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. What's a song that always gets stuck in your head?
Well, lately it's been one of 2 Steely Dan tunes, Don't Take Me Alive or Haitian Divorce. Haitian Divorce always seems to get stuck in my head.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
Leave it at that.
Yeah. It is interesting for like, you just wake up singing songs like that. Sometimes like me, it's like, I might not even heard the song in 10 years or whatever. And all of a sudden it would be for some reason on a loop in my brain. And when I wake up in the morning, so it's interesting how some of those certain songs stick with you and how they just sit there, play over and over sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully I get, whatever song I'm writing stuck in my head. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, man.
If it's stuck in my head, I know I'm onto something.
Right. Obviously you did MoMo The Monster during quarantine this year, and you're working, so you're always working on new stuff. What is next for Scott Cooper? You got some, you're just going to continue?
I got a bunch of things that are the works in progress. That I should say that some guys write and if the song isn't written in 5 or 10 minutes, then they throw it away. And I'm kind of just the opposite. Although I have written it like that, some songs take me 10 years. Sometimes they take me 10 months.
Right.
Sometimes they take me 10 days. Rarely, but occasionally it will take me 10 minutes. So I got a couple tunes that I tend to write about people that I know have unique circumstances or unique personalities or whatever. So I got one about my friend Michelle, who dances all the time, goes out dancing, whether any excuse to go dancing. And I got a song about a woman I know, I'll just call her Iris, who met the love of her life at age 55. And then a couple years later, he passed away.
Oh,
it was real bittersweet.
Yeah.
So I've had some music, and I finally found a theme for it. So I'm writing that right now.
Yeah. You think it'll be you thinking just singles, or are you going to work on maybe this being an album, or
I don't know. There's not really much market for making a CD anymore. So that's a whole nother topic of this. That's a whole nother lecture.
Yeah.
Making this whole CD thing.
Sure.
It's Call My Name, and I got 2 other songs besides Call My Name that I have recently released as singles online that are not on any CD. And I've got a bunch of other songs, backlog that I haven't released on CD. And I don't really know if there's any advantage to releasing them on CD other than getting them on radio airplay.
Right.
And, if I get my $6 check from BMI, then is it not really worth making a CD and getting, trying for the airplay? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think everybody, there's a lot of people that are sitting in a similar position right now, trying to figure out what's the best way to go about releasing music and things. And I do feel like maybe CDs are kind of done, but I still think like putting together albums is fun. Like I still like hearing a collection of songs that have, they're whether there's a theme to them or not, but just like somebody took the effort to put these particular tracks together, like that to belong in this order and stuff. Sometimes there is no reason, but so it's just always like fun for me though when I do listen to somebody's body of work and as an album and stuff front to back, and I enjoy vinyl still a lot. So it's always I feel like that's kind of, I mean, obviously sales wise have showed it too that vinyl's made a huge comeback. So like if I can get somebody press it on vinyl too, that's always fun for me. So, but it gets expensive. So I know that's not as likely of an option for a lot of artists just because it cost wise. But I think it would be fun though to get some more Scott Cooper music out there and gets even if it's just some singles, because I think that works too. So I had friends that went and like did like a single a month for a year, and then eventually and come December or whatever, they put it out as an album and stuff. So
right.
It's there's no, that's what's kind of fun today. There's no rules to any of it. Everybody, you can make it up as you go.
Yep. For better or worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll get involved again with Scott Cooper. You can find Scott Cooper jams on Bandcamp, a bunch of great music there. You've got, again, the China Cats and Rosebud. If you're in the Santa Cruz and California area, and that where you can catch them live. And then, of course, Scott will be coming back home to the St. Louis area in April for Sugar Creek Music Festival, which I'm gonna try to come out there, man. It's I've been meaning to go out there. I visit Camp Manitowa for a while. I know there's a lot of great music going on out there throughout the year. So whenever prior to 2020, So hopefully I can make that a point to visit that day for sure and come see you live, man.
Right on.
And we can link up.
Hope to meet you there, Shane.
Yeah, be a lot of fun to link up in person and instead of over the internet like this next time.
Mm-hmm.
But I really appreciate you doing this, Scott. It's been a lot of fun hanging with you today, man.
Likewise. Thank you so much for doing it too.
And I'll see you, I guess, in April.
Okay,
All right.
man.
All right.
Have a good one, Shane.
Bye, everybody.